There are rules that kings must never break. For centuries, the Spanish royal house has operated under an iron code. Every gesture calculated, every word approved, every step choreographed before it's taken. But on one extraordinary day, King Felipe VI looked at his daughter and broke every rule in that code. What he did next shocked royal watchers across Europe. And quietly, it changed the future of the Spanish monarchy forever. To understand why what Felipe did was so remarkable, you first need to understand the world he lives in. Royal protocol isn't just etiquette. It's a survival system. For monarchies across Europe, whether in Madrid, London, or Amsterdam, protocol is the invisible architecture holding the institution together. It tells you who bows first, who speaks first, who walks ahead of whom. And perhaps most crucially, what a king is never supposed to show in public. Emotion. Kings don't cry at press conferences. Queens don't break rank in public processions. Heirs don't improvise. The message is always the same: we are above chaos. We are stable. We are permanent. For King Felipe VI, a man trained his entire life to embody that ideal, every public moment was a performance of quiet, controlled authority. Until it wasn't. To tell this story properly, we need to talk about Leonor. Born in 2005, Princess Leonor de Bourbon is the heir apparent to the Spanish throne, and by all accounts, she has grown up in one of the most scrutinized fishbowls in Europe. Unlike the heirs of some other royal houses, Leonor wasn't hidden away. From a very young age, she was placed in front of cameras, before parliaments, and at the center of national events, expected to be poised, prepared, and perfect. At age 13, she delivered a national address on Spain's Constitution Day. Alone, at a podium, in front of the country. And she did it flawlessly. But flawless performance comes at a cost. Behind the palace walls, sources close to the family have described a princess navigating enormous pressure to be everything Spain needs her to be, while still being a teenager. In 2023, Leonor began her military training, a requirement for future Spanish monarchs. She enrolled at the General Military Academy in Zaragoza. She left home. She wore a uniform. She saluted superior officers. She was 18 years old. And this is where our story truly begins. October 2023, the General Military Academy in Zaragoza, Spain. Princess Leonor had just completed her first phase of military training. The ceremony was everything you'd expect from a Spanish royal occasion: formal, precise, and watched by hundreds of cameras from every major news outlet in Europe. King Felipe VI arrived in full dress uniform, chest covered in medals, posture immaculate. Queen Letizia at his side. The setting demanded composure. Protocol demanded distance. And then, Leonor walked across that courtyard. Not toward a podium, not toward the cameras, toward her father. What happened next lasted only a few seconds. But those seconds were captured by every camera in that courtyard. King Felipe VI, sixth of his name, head of state of a nation of 47 million people, stepped forward. And he held his daughter. Not a formal handshake. Not the stiff, side-by-side pose you see in royal family portraits. He embraced her. He held on. For a king operating under centuries of protocol that demands emotional restraint in public, this was extraordinary. Royal correspondents across Europe noted it immediately. Social media clips of the moment went viral within hours. Because in that embrace, Felipe wasn't performing a role. He was just a father, proud of his daughter. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, it was just a hug. Why does this matter? Fair question. Let's put it in context. Across the history of European monarchies, public displays of parental affection, especially at formal state occasions, have been almost non-existent. Queen Elizabeth II was famously reserved with her children in public. The late Prince Philip maintained an iron exterior throughout his life. Even in moments of great national joy or grief, royals have been expected to hold the line between personal and public. In Spain specifically, the Bourbon family has carried this tradition with particular rigor. King Juan Carlos I, Felipe's father, was known for being warm in private but reserved in public. Warmth was rationed. Vulnerability was off limits. So when Felipe stepped outside that mold, not at a private family gathering, but at an official military ceremony, broadcast live, it sent a clear signal. Something had shifted. Historians and royal analysts were quick to point out what this moment meant, not just personally, but institutionally. The Spanish monarchy has not had an easy decade. The shadow of King Juan Carlos's financial scandals, which forced his exile to Abu Dhabi, left a deep wound on public trust in the institution. Felipe has spent years rebuilding that trust, walking a careful line between tradition and transparency. And this moment, this unguarded, unscripted embrace, did something no press release could do. It made the king human. Across Spain and beyond, the public reaction was overwhelmingly positive. Comments flooded in on social media. Newspapers ran the image on their front pages. Commentators who had been critical of the monarchy's aloofness wrote that they had seen something different in Felipe that day. A father who loved his daughter more than he feared the cameras. But there's another layer to this story, and it's about Leonor. Because the message Felipe sent that day wasn't just to the public. It was to his heir. He was proud of her. And he wanted the world to know it. We are living through a pivotal moment for European monarchies. Across the continent, a new generation of royals is grappling with a fundamental question: how do you stay relevant in the 21st century? The old answer was distance. Mystique. The idea that royals exist slightly above ordinary life. But the data tells a different story. Monarchies that have modernized, that have allowed their members to show genuine personality, genuine family bonds, genuine struggle, are polling better. Connecting deeper. Felipe seems to understand this. And in that Zaragoza courtyard, he demonstrated it. Not by giving an interview. Not by releasing a statement. By being, for just a moment, exactly who he is when no one is supposed to be watching. Leonor will one day be Queen of Spain. That is, barring something extraordinary, a certainty. And the question every royal analyst asks is, what kind of queen will she be? The early signs are promising. Unlike some heirs who seem hollowed out by the weight of duty, Leonor appears engaged. Curious. Genuine. And perhaps that's no accident. Because a father who is willing to break protocol to hold his daughter in public, is also a father who probably tells her, in private, that she matters more than the crown. That changes how a monarch leads. Not from obligation, not from fear of breaking tradition, but from a place of knowing, deeply, personally, that they are loved. Royal protocol exists for a reason. It creates order. It projects stability. It separates the personal from the political. But sometimes, just sometimes, the most powerful thing a king can do is set the protocol aside. King Felipe VI didn't plan that moment. He didn't rehearse it. There was no press secretary waiting to spin it. There was just a father. And his daughter. And a courtyard full of cameras that caught something real. History is made in grand gestures, in wars, in treaties, in coronations. But sometimes, it's made in a hug. If you found this story fascinating, subscribe. We cover the untold moments behind Europe's most powerful families every week. And let us know in the comments. Do you think modern monarchies should show more emotion in public? Or does the mystique matter? We'll see you in the next one.